The leather of the boardroom chair is cold, shockingly so, against the back of my thighs. It's a sensation that cuts through the dull hum of the air conditioning and the even duller drone of Marcus's voice. He's leaning forward, elbows on the polished mahogany, hands clasped, every inch the confident CEO. The exact same posture, the same damn words. He's pitching the business plan he stole from me, the one that made him a titan and broke me in another life. My life. The one before this. Rebirth. I focus on the tiny scratch near the corner of the table, a new detail in this replayed scene. My heart hammers a frantic rhythm against my ribs, a wild bird trapped in a cage. I try to breathe, to project an air of calm consideration. His lips are moving, shaping words I already know by heart. A revolutionary approach to market synergy, he's saying, his eyes gleaming with that false fire I once found so captivating. Now it just makes my stomach clench. I can almost feel the weight of the original betrayal, the crushing despair of watching my dreams turn to ash in his hands. But this time, there's a sliver of ice in my veins where the despair used to be. This time, I know what's coming. Then it happens, right on cue. His phone, lying innocuously beside his leather-bound notebook, buzzes. A short, sharp vibration. He glances down, a flicker of something. Annoyance? No, anticipation in his eyes. A text. I don't need to see the screen. I know it's from Elise, my sister. Confirming their affair, their secret trysts have begun again in this timeline too. Just like before, the confirmation is a fresh twist of the knife even though I expected it. My own sister, conspiring with my nemesis. The pain is a familiar ache, a phantom limb throbbing with remembered agony. My fingertips, hidden beneath the table, trace the cool, crisp edge of the contract tucked inside my briefcase. Lydia Chen's name is a silent promise on the expensive paper. His biggest rival, my lifeline. Marcus looks up, his charming smile back in place, oblivious to the storm raging inside me. "So, Amelia," he says, his voice dropping to that intimate register he uses when he wants something. "This is a ground floor opportunity, a chance for us to build something incredible, together. Are you in?" Our eyes lock. His are alight with ambition, a predatory gleam. Mine? I hope mine reflect only calm, professional interest. The lukewarm coffee in the porcelain cup before me suddenly tastes like bitter regret on my tongue. He doesn't recognize the woman sitting across from him. He sees Amelia Thorne, the one he so easily manipulated, the one whose heart and business he shattered. He doesn't see the survivor, the one who has lived this betrayal once and has returned with the scars and the knowledge to ensure it never happens again. He doesn't know the calm calculation behind my smile is a razor's edge. I take a slow sip of the coffee, stalling, letting the silence stretch. "It's an interesting proposal, Marcus," I finally say, my voice smoother than I feel. "Very ambitious." He leans back, satisfied. "Ambitious is my middle name, Amelia. You know that." "Oh, I know more than you can possibly imagine, Marcus. More than you'll ever know until it's too late." The air in Elise's apartment is thick with her signature vanilla perfume. It used to be a comforting scent, a reminder of shared childhood secrets and late-night giggles. Now, it's cloying, suffocating, the olfactory equivalent of her treachery. She pulls me into a hug, her arms surprisingly strong. "Mia, I'm so glad you came over." Her voice is bright, a little too bright. She has no idea I saw the deleted texts on her phone last week when I borrowed it to make a quick call. No idea I've already mapped out the geography of her deceit. "Wouldn't miss our sister time," I say, forcing a smile that feels brittle. I let my gaze wander around her meticulously tidy living room. Cream sofas, abstract art, a framed photo of us on the mantelpiece. Younger, happier, innocent of the betrayals to come. I memorize everything, the way she tucks her hair behind her ear when she's being evasive, the slight tremor in her hand as she pours us tea. "So, what's new with you?" I ask, settling onto the sofa, sinking into its deceptive softness. "Oh, she says a little too casually. "Work is crazy, and, well, there's someone new." "Oh?" I raise an eyebrow, feigning surprise. Anyone I know? Her cheeks flush a delicate pink. No, I don't think so. It's early days. Liar, I know it's Marcus. I've seen the late night calls, the hushed conversations when she thinks I'm not listening. I know she sneaks away during her lunch breaks, her dentist appointments, and client meetings, conveniently located near his office. Each lie is another small cut, another confirmation of what I already lived through. In my past life, her affair with Marcus was the final, devastating blow. This time, it's just another piece of the puzzle I'm assembling. I make a mental note of the half-packed overnight bag peeking out from under her bed when I use her bathroom. A weekend trip, no doubt, with him. Lunch with Kora is at La Petit Bistro, our old favorite. The sunlight dapples the white tablecloth. The scent of freshly baked bread and brewing coffee fills the air. It's a perfect illusion of normalcy, of the easy friendship we once shared. You seem preoccupied, Amelia, Kora says, her brow furrowed with mock concern. Her fingers, usually so still, tap a nervous staccato rhythm against her water glass. It's a tiny, almost imperceptible tell, but I see it. I remember it. Just a lot on my mind, I say, stirring my iced tea. The new venture, you know how it is. Of course, she says, her eyes a little too keen. How are things progressing with the foundational algorithm? Still hitting those projected efficiency markers? She's probing, fishing for information, the same way she did before. In my past life, I'd confided in her, desperate for a friendly ear, for support. Within hours, every detail, every vulnerability had been relayed to Marcus. He used it to counter my every move, to anticipate my strategies. She sold my secrets for a promotion in a corner office. It's progressing, I say vaguely, offering a non-committal smile. Still a few kinks to iron out. Well, if you ever need a fresh pair of eyes, she offers, her voice dripping with false sincerity. I'll keep that in mind, Kora, I reply, my own voice equally insincere. The charade is exhausting, but necessary. I watch her subtly try to glance at my phone when I place it on the table. The hunger for information, for any scrap she can take to Marcus, is almost palpable. The betrayal from a best friend, someone I'd trusted with my deepest fears and wildest dreams, still stings. A dull ache that never truly fades. Marcus, predictably, summons me to his penthouse office. Just to chat, Amelia, his message had read, to discuss our future. The elevator whispers upwards, depositing me into a reception area misters of chrome and glass. His office is a monument to his ego. Floor-to-ceiling windows frame the city's skyline, a breathtaking panorama of power and success. His success, built on the foundations of my stolen work. Amelia, darling, he says, rising from behind his massive mahogany desk. He's all charm and predatory grace, his expensive suit perfectly tailored, his smile dazzling. He pours us both a whiskey, the amber liquid catching the late afternoon sun. To new beginnings, he says, raising his glass. I clink my glass against his, the sound sharp and brittle in the opulent silence. New beginnings, I echo, my voice carefully neutral. He launches into his proposal, a strategic alliance that would essentially absorb my company into his. His voice is a silken caress, dripping with false sincerity, painting a picture of shared glory, of unparalleled success. Imagine it, Amelia, our talents combined. We'd be unstoppable. I pretend to consider his offer, swirling the golden whiskey in my glass, the ice clinking like a warning bell. I remember the last time he made me an offer like this. I'd been naive, trusting. I'd believed in him, in us. He'd taken everything, my patents, my company, my heart. It's a generous offer, Marcus, I say, meeting his gaze. I'll need some time to think about it. Of course, he says, his smile never wavering. But don't take too long. Opportunities like this don't come around every day. He believes he has me, that I'm still the same starstruck girl dazzled by his ambition. He doesn't see the cold fury simmering beneath my calm exterior, the carefully constructed plan taking shape in my mind. The setting sun paints the room in hues of orange and crimson, like the fires of my own personal hell. Professor Warner, my lifelong mentor, the man whose academic guidance I'd revered, invites me to his university office. The room is a comforting cocoon of old books, leather armchairs, and the faint, lingering scent of pipe tobacco. It always felt like a sanctuary. Today, it feels like a trap. Amelia, my dear, he says, his kindly eyes crinkling at the corners. I hear Marcus Thorne has made you an offer. News travels fast, Professor, I reply, settling into the worn leather chair opposite his desk. It does in our small world, he chuckles. He's a sharp young man, Marcus. Ambitious, perhaps a little ruthless. But that's what it takes these days. He leans forward, his expression earnest. I've been thinking about your patents, Amelia. Remarkable work, truly. But patents are a double-edged sword for a young entrepreneur. Costly to maintain, difficult to defend. What are you suggesting, Professor? I ask, though I already know. I remember this conversation, the gentle, persuasive tone he used to convince me to sell my intellectual property for a fraction of its worth. I think you should consider selling them to Marcus, he says, his voice soft, reasonable. Or at least licensing them exclusively. A bird in the hand, Amelia. Gain the experience, build your capital. There will be other inventions, other opportunities. The wood-paneled office suddenly feels claustrophobic. He's on Marcus's payroll. He was then, and he is now. The realization, even though it's a memory, hits me with the force of a physical blow. The man who taught me about ethics, about intellectual integrity, was a paid shill. The betrayal from a trusted mentor, someone I'd looked up to as a father figure, is a particularly bitter pill to swallow. Thank you for the advice, Professor, I say, my voice carefully neutral. I'll certainly give it some thought. His smile is benevolent, paternal. That's all I ask, my dear. I only want what's best for you. The hypocrisy is staggering. I leave his office feeling a cold, hard knot of anger in my chest. Another villain unmasked, another betrayal confirmed. The circle is complete. Sunday dinner at my parents' house is an ordeal. The scent of Mom's famous roast beef, usually a source of comfort and nostalgia, can't mask the suffocating tension in the dining room. My father, a man of tradition and unyielding expectations, presides over the table like a judge. Amelia, he begins, after the polite small talk has been exhausted. I had a call from Marcus Thorne this week. I meet his gaze, my fork poised over my plate. Oh? He tells me he's made you a very generous offer to merge your company with his. A significant stake, he said. Financial security. My father's face tightens with disappointment when I don't immediately express enthusiasm. It's a sensible move, Amelia. Thorne Industries is a powerhouse. Your little startup? Well, it's a gamble. My little startup is built on groundbreaking technology, Dad, I say, my voice firmer than I intend. Don't be naive, he scoffs. Technology is one thing. Business acumen is another. Marcus has proven himself. My mother wrings her hands, her eyes darting between us. Richard, please. No, Eleanor, she needs to hear this. This emotional attachment to her invention is clouding her judgment. I look at my brother, Michael. He's engrossed in his mashed potatoes, refusing to meet my eyes. He's always been easily swayed by the promise of quick money, of reflected glory. In my past life, he'd been Marcus's staunchest supporter within the family, urging me to sell, to give in. I later found out he'd been promised a lucrative position at Thorne Industries. Michael, I prompt, my voice soft. You've been quiet. What do you think? He finally looks up, his expression a mixture of guilt and defiance. Dad's right, Mia. It's a good deal. Marcus is going places. We could all benefit. The way hangs in the air, heavy and incriminating. He's already signed some preliminary paperwork, I'm sure of it. Some agreement with Marcus contingent on the merger. My own family undermining me, prioritizing financial gain over loyalty, over me. The roast beef tastes like sawdust in my mouth. The betrayal isn't just business, it's deeply, painfully personal. It's a reminder that even those closest to you can become instruments of your downfall, but this time I am not falling, I'm rising, and they are all in my way. I excuse myself from the table early, the oppressive weight of their collective disapproval a physical burden. In my old bedroom, surrounded by the ghosts of my childhood, I stare at my reflection. The girl in the mirror is tired, her eyes shadowed, but there's a new hardness there, a glint of steel. They see weakness, vulnerability. They see the Amelia they can manipulate, the one they can control. They have no idea who I've become. They have no idea what I'm capable of, and they will. Soon, very soon. The hum of the fluorescent lights in the Thorn Industries boardroom is an aggressive, buzzing irritant, amplifying the tension in the room. I sit at the long, polished table, my hands clasped loosely in my lap, projecting an air of detached composure I don't entirely feel. Marcus is at the head of the table, beaming, a conquering hero returned from battle. Kora is beside him, her smile sharp, predatory. This is their moment of triumph, their grand unveiling. And so, Marcus announces, his voice resonating with practiced confidence. It is with immense pride that Thorn Industries, in collaboration with a brilliant new strategic partner, he gestures vaguely towards Kora, not me, introduces Synergy Core, the next generation of predictive analytics software. A slick presentation flashes onto the oversized screen behind him. My algorithms, my research, my stolen work, repackaged, rebranded, presented as their own. The audacity is breathtaking. I feel a familiar churn in my stomach, a cold wave of anger washing over me. In my past life, this moment had been devastating. I had protested, accused, only to be dismissed, belittled, painted as a disgruntled former employee. This time, I remained silent. I clutch the edge of my leather portfolio, my knuckles white, but my face is a mask of polite interest. I watch their faces, memorize their smug expressions, the self-congratulatory glances they exchange. Let them have their moment. It will be fleeting. Later that afternoon, I call Marcus. My voice, when I speak, is steady, betraying none of the inferno raging within. Marcus, it's Amelia. Amelia, I was hoping you'd call. What did you think of the launch? His voice is laced with an almost boyish enthusiasm, the thrill of the win. Impressive, Marcus, truly, I say, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. Synergy Core looks groundbreaking. His relief is almost palpable through the phone line. He was expecting a fight, accusations. My passive acceptance has clearly disarmed him. I knew you'd see the potential, Amelia. This is going to be huge. It deserves a celebration, I suggest, my tone light, convivial. Just the two of us? For old time's sake? A pause, then, I'd like that, Amelia, very much. He sounds genuinely pleased, perhaps even a little surprised. He thinks I'm capitulating, that I'm ready to accept my defeat gracefully. Tomorrow night, my treat, I offer. Perfect. I hang up, the plastic of the receiver cool against my palm. I twist the now disconnected cord around my finger, tighter and tighter, until it bites into my skin. Each move, each word, is a carefully calculated step in a dance only I understand. He's walking into my web, completely unaware. The thought brings a grim, cold satisfaction. The Blue Moon Jazz Bar is a relic from another era, hidden down a narrow alleyway in the city's oldest district. The air inside is thick with the scent of stale beer, cigarette smoke, and desperation. The mournful wail of a saxophone provides a fitting soundtrack to the clandestine meeting. Lydia Chen sits across from me in a dimly lit booth, her face partially obscured by shadows. Her eyes, however, are sharp, missing nothing. She's a legend in the tech world, a self-made billionaire with a reputation for ruthless efficiency and a long-standing feud with Marcus Thorn. You were right, Lydia says, her voice a low murmur, barely audible above the music. Synergy Core is a direct infringement on your original patents. The core architecture is identical. I nod, taking a sip of my club soda. I told you he wouldn't even bother to change much. His arrogance is his weakness. And your opportunity, Lydia counters, a ghost of a smile playing on her lips. I slide a slim, unmarked flash drive across the scarred wooden table. This is everything. My original research, a detailed comparative analysis showing the direct code lineage, internal memos from my time at Thorn Industries that allude to his interest in my work long before I left. This is the new ammunition. Research I never shared in my past life, evidence I'd painstakingly gathered this time around, anticipating this very moment. Lydia picks up the drive, her fingers closing around it. This is significant. It's enough to bury him, I say, my voice flat, devoid of emotion. If used correctly. Oh, it will be, she assures me. The patent office will receive an anonymous tip, and certain influential journalists will find this information very compelling. The saxophone hits a particularly soulful note, a lament for a fallen king. Marcus has no idea the forces aligning against him, the storm that's about to break. Back in my apartment, rain streaks down the window panes, blurring the city lights into a watercolor wash. My heart hammers against my ribs as I compose the anonymous email to the patent office. Every word is chosen with meticulous care, a damning indictment of Marcus's intellectual property theft, supported by irrefutable evidence. I attach the encrypted files Lydia's team helped prepare. Click, send. The email disappears into the digital ether, a silent torpedo heading straight for Marcus's flagship. Thunder rumbles in the distance, a low, ominous growl. A sense of grim exhilaration courses through me. It's done. The first real shot has been fired. There's no turning back now. I stare out at the rain-swept city, a concrete jungle where predators roam. Tonight, I am one of them. The annual Tech Innovation Conference is the industry's premier event, a glittering showcase of cutting-edge technology and self-congratulatory speeches. Marcus Thorne is the keynote speaker, the golden boy, the visionary. He strides onto the stage, basking in the applause, his smile wide, confident. His presentation begins, a slick multimedia extravaganza showcasing the wonders of Synergy Core. Then the glitches begin. At first, they're minor. A flickering screen, a distorted audio feed. Marcus, ever the showman, tries to laugh them off. A few pre-show jitters, folks. But the glitches escalate. The demonstration freezes. The system crashes. A wisp of smoke, then another, curls from the prototype unit on stage. The acrid scent of burning electronics begins to permeate the auditorium. Panic flickers in Marcus's eyes. He fumbles with the controls, his confident facade crumbling. Cameras flash, a feeding frenzy of technological schadenfreude. From my seat in the back row, partially obscured by a potted plant, I take a slow, deliberate sip of champagne. The bubbles tickle my nose, a fizzy counterpoint to the unraveling disaster on stage. Marcus's eyes frantically scan the crowd, searching for what? Reassurance? An escape route? Me? He won't find any comfort here. His team rushes onto the stage, a flurry of hushed whispers and panicked gestures. The presentation is a disaster. Synergy Core, the revolutionary software, is a smoking wreck. The headlines the next day are brutal. Thorne's Synergy Core self-destructs on launch. Tech Darling's dream turns to nightmare. Patent infringement allegations surface against Thorne Industries. Marcus's carefully constructed world is beginning to fracture. I watch the news reports, a cool, detached observer. His stock is plummeting. His investors are spooked. His reputation is in tatters. He tries to reach me, his calls increasingly desperate, his texts a mixture of threats and pleas. I ignore them all, and this is just the beginning. The first loop of my silent revenge is complete. He is wounded, vulnerable. But he is not yet broken. That I know will take time. And I have all the time in the world. The clatter of cups and the low hum of conversation in the trendy downtown cafe provides a deceptively mundane backdrop for Elise and Kora's renewed assault. They've requested this meeting, framing it as a concerned intervention. "Amelia, darling," Elise begins, her voice dripping with a cloying sweetness that sets my teeth on edge. She reaches across the small marble table to pat my hand. Her touch is cold. "We've been so worried about you. This whole situation with Marcus. It's been dreadful." Kora nods, her expression a carefully crafted mask of sympathy. "We know how much your work means to you, and to see it all, well, we have an idea, a lifeline, really." The espresso machine hisses aggressively as if protesting their duplicity. They outline their proposal, a new venture, a boutique innovation hub, they call it. They want me to bring my remaining intellectual property, my unique creative vision, to the table. In return, they offer me a prominent role, a chance to rebuild my legacy. The terms, however, are couched in convoluted legalese that effectively strips me of any real control, any real ownership. It's a blatant power grab, an attempt to scavenge the remains of my company and my reputation. They see me as weakened, vulnerable, ripe for the picking. It's a peace offering, Amelia, Kora says, her eyes shining with a sincerity I know is utterly false. A chance for us to put the past behind us and build something new. Together. As sisters, Elise adds, her voice thick with manufactured emotion. And as friends. The hypocrisy is almost suffocating. I want to scream, to rail against their treachery. Instead, I take a slow sip of my lukewarm latte. I need to play this carefully. Dinner that evening is at Serafina's, an absurdly expensive restaurant with dim lighting and hushed waiters. The flickering candlelight casts long, dancing shadows, perfect for concealing the resolute, calculating expression I'm sure is etched on my face. I've agreed to their generous offer. I don't know what to say, I begin, my voice carefully modulated to convey a convincing tremor of gratitude and relief. I manage to conjure a few tears, dabbing at my eyes with a linen napkin. After everything, I thought I was finished. This means the world to me. Elise beams, exchanging a triumphant glance with Kora. We knew you'd see the wisdom in it, Mia. We're stronger together. To new beginnings, Kora toasts, raising her champagne flute. The steak knife in my hand feels cool and heavy as I slice into my filet mignon. I sign the preliminary agreement they've so thoughtfully brought along, the paper feeling like a death warrant for their ambitions. They watch me, their eyes gleaming with avarice, convinced they've outmaneuvered me once again. They have no idea they've just signed their own. The charade is exhausting, the taste of deceit bitter on my tongue, but the thought of what's to come fuels my resolve. Midnight. The sterile air of the luxury hotel suite hums with the low thrum of the city below and the even lower thrum of conspiracy. The air conditioning raises goosebumps on my arms, a physical manifestation of the chilling stakes. Across the polished conference table sit 3 international investors. They are sleek, powerful, and united by a common grievance. Marcus Thorne had burned them all in various illicit dealings and an offshore shell corporation scandal years ago. They are hungry for retribution, and I am here to serve it on a silver platter. Your new project, Miss Thorne, says Mr. Dubois, a stern-faced Frenchman with eyes like chips of obsidian. This aura tech you've kept under wraps. The preliminary data is compelling. It's more than compelling, Jean-Pierre, I say, my voice calm, authoritative. It's revolutionary, and it's mine, untainted by Marcus Thorne. We spend hours poring over projections, schematics, and market analyses. They grill me, their questions sharp, incisive. I meet every query with confidence, with irrefutable data. By dawn, as the first gray light of morning seeps into the room, we have a deal. Exclusive global distribution rights for Auratech, my true innovation, the one I'd kept hidden from everyone in both lifetimes. The contracts are signed, the handshake's firm. This isn't just about my revenge anymore. It's about building an empire on the ruins of his. It's about proving that true innovation, ethical business, can prevail. Professor Warner's office still smells of pipe tobacco and dusty old books, a scent that now triggers a wave of revulsion rather than nostalgia. He agreed to meet me under the pretext of discussing my future academic contributions. He is, as always, pompous and self-important. Amelia, my dear girl, he says, leaning back in his worn leather chair, I was so pleased to hear you're collaborating with Elise and Kora. A wise decision. Pooling resources, leveraging diverse talents. That's the key to success in this challenging environment. I nod, feigning attentiveness. I've been thinking a lot about my early research, Professor. The work I did before Thorne Industries. Ah, yes, he says, a wistful expression on his face. Some truly groundbreaking concepts. A pity it was, perhaps, ahead of its time. Or perhaps not commercially viable without the right, shall we say, guidance? You always said that true academic integrity lies in the pursuit of knowledge, regardless of commercial applications. I prompt gently. Indeed, he pontificates. But one must also be pragmatic. Sometimes a brilliant idea needs a strong hand to bring it to fruition. Marcus, for all his faults, had that strength. My role, as I saw it, was to facilitate a synergy, to ensure your foundational work didn't languish in obscurity. He's unknowingly confessing, his words a damning indictment of his own academic fraud, his collusion with Marcus. My fingers tighten around the tiny, high-fidelity recorder nestled in my pocket. Every word, every self-serving justification is being captured. His tweed jacket, once a symbol of academic gravitas, now seems like a cheap costume. The recording will be another nail in his coffin, and another blow to Marcus's already crumbling credibility when it anonymously finds its way to the university ethics board and a few select journalists. The press conference is a masterfully orchestrated implosion. Elise and Kora are on the podium, resplendent in their power suits, beaming at the assembled media. They are about to announce their new venture, their visionary collaboration with me. Then, the first question comes from a journalist I'd discreetly tipped off. Miss Thorne, Miss Holloway, there are reports that your primary funding source, a private equity firm based in Zurich, has just declared insolvency due to unforeseen liabilities. Can you comment? Elise's smile falters, Kora pales. That's preposterous, Elise stammers, but it's not. The firm, one Marcus had secretly propped up and then used to funnel money to Elise and Kora, was a house of cards. I'd merely given it a well-aimed nudge. Simultaneously, market analysts, also armed with anonymously supplied data from my End Begin, releasing scathing reports questioning the viability of their proposed business model, highlighting the lack of truly innovative IP and the questionable track records of its principal founders, excluding me, of course, whom the reports paint as a potential victim of their overreach. The cameras flash, capturing their confusion, their dawning panic. Their phones start buzzing, margin calls, angry investors, demands for explanations. My own phone buzzes in my purse. They're desperate calls. I silence it. I rise from my seat in the front row, a picture of calm amidst the chaos. It seems, I say, my voice carrying clearly in the stunned silence, that there have been some unfortunate developments. Perhaps this announcement was premature. I turn and walk out, leaving them to face the fallout. As I step into the waiting car, my phone buzzes again. It's Lydia Chen. Well played, Amelia. Well played. I smile. The car pulls away from the curb, heading towards the airport. I have a plane to catch, a meeting with Lydia, a new empire to build. The second loop is complete. They are not just wounded now, they are crippled, and the final act is about to begin. The air in our childhood home is thick with unspoken accusations, and the heavy scent of my mother's lemon polish, a scent usually associated with comfort, now a prelude to ambush. The grandfather clock in the hall ticks with an unnerving, sonorous rhythm, each talk a countdown to the inevitable confrontation. They are all here, a united front of familial betrayal, my father, his face set in lines of grim determination. My brother, Michael, fidgeting, unable to meet my gaze. Elise, her eyes red-rimmed, a picture of reluctant sorrow that doesn't fool me for a second. And Marcus. He stands slightly apart, an affectation of respectful distance, but his presence is a suffocating weight in the room. This is it, the family intervention, their final desperate move to wrest control. Amelia, my father begins, his voice heavy like a judge about to pass sentence. We're doing this because we love you, because we're worried about you. Elise chimes in, her voice trembling artfully. You haven't been yourself, Mia, making reckless decisions, alienating people. Marcus steps forward, his expression one of deep, counterfeit concern. Your recent actions, they've destabilized the company, Amelia. Investors are losing confidence. We need to protect what's left, for your own good. They present the legal document, its crisp official pages spread across the antique mahogany dining table where we once shared laughter and birthday cakes. It's a petition for my removal as CEO, citing incompetence, erratic behavior, and a slew of other fabricated grievances. They intend to install Marcus as interim CEO with Elise and Michael on the board. My own family, conspiring with my nemesis to strip me of everything I've rebuilt. The sheer, unmitigated gall of it is almost breathtaking. I read through the document, my expression carefully neutral. Their signatures are already there, a damning testament to their collective treachery. The grandfather clock ticks, louder now, it seems, in the suffocating silence. In my previous life, this moment would have shattered me. I would have fought, screamed, pleaded. Now a strange calm settles over me. I know this play. I know the lines. And I know how to rewrite the ending. With a steady hand, I pick up the pen. Their eyes are fixed on me, a mixture of apprehension and greedy anticipation. I sign my name with a flourish. A collective sigh of relief, almost a gasp, ripples through the room. They think they've won. They think I'm broken, defeated. I only ask, I say, my voice quiet, almost meek, for a small consulting role, to help with the transition, to ensure a smooth handover. Marcus can barely conceal his smirk of triumph. Of course, Amelia, your input would be invaluable. My father nods, a flicker of something relief, guilt in his eyes. A sensible arrangement. The pen feels impossibly light in my hand as I sign away what they believe is my entire world. They have no idea they've just handed me the keys to their destruction. Lydia Chen's office is a sanctuary of cool, minimalist efficiency, a world away from the emotional blackmail of my family home. The panoramic view of the city skyline glitters with a million lights, a testament to ambition and achievement. The leather portfolio under my arm feels warm, almost alive. It contains my true masterpiece, the patents for Oratech, the revolutionary technology I never revealed in my first life and kept carefully hidden in this one until now. They took the bait? Lydia asks, a ghost of a smile playing on her lips as I enter. Hook, line, and sinker, I confirm, placing the portfolio on her expansive glass desk. They believe they have full control of my old company. They have no idea its most valuable assets were never truly on the table. We spend the next hour finalizing the paperwork for the merger I've been meticulously planning for months. Chen Enterprises and my secretly established Oratech Inc. are to become Chen Lydia International, a new global powerhouse. My signature invention will be its flagship product. My consulting role at my old company will provide the perfect cover to ensure a seamless transfer of necessary non-Oratech-related assets and information before they realize the shell they've acquired. The signing is swift, efficient. Lydia raises a glass of champagne, her eyes gleaming with admiration. To Amelia Thorne, the architect of the most elegant corporate takedown I've ever witnessed. To new beginnings, Lydia, I say, clinking my glass against hers. And to finally playing my own game by my own rules. The television studio is a hive of controlled chaos. The lights are hot, almost blinding, but my focus is absolute. The interviewer, a renowned financial journalist named Sarah Chen, no relation to Lydia, a fact that adds a delicious layer of irony, leans forward, her expression sharp, intelligent. Amelia Thorne, she begins, her voice crisp, authoritative. You've been something of an enigma these past few months. Rumors of corporate espionage, family feuds, a dramatic ousting from your own company. And now, this sudden, unexpected emergence as the co-CEO of the newly formed Chen Lydia International. What's the real story? I smile, a calm, confident smile that I feel down to my bones. The real story, Sarah, is about reclaiming what's mine, and about building something better, something stronger, on a foundation of integrity. Then, the reveal, the twist that will send shockwaves through the entire industry. What few people know, I continue, my voice clear, steady, is about my family's discreet financial portfolio. A network of trusts and holding companies established by my grandfather, a rather astute, if secretive businessman. I pause, letting the implications sink in. These holdings include a significant, if not controlling, interest in several key manufacturing plants and component suppliers. Suppliers that, as it happens, are absolutely critical to the operations of Thorne Industries. Sarah's eyes widen. Are you saying? I'm saying, I cut in smoothly, that while Marcus Thorne and my family were busy seizing control of a company they believed was my everything, they overlooked the rather crucial detail of who controls their supply chain. Chen Lydia International, through its newly consolidated assets, now effectively holds the leash on Thorne Industries. The studio is silent, save for the frantic clicking of cameras. I can almost feel the collective gasp of the audience watching at home. The power balance hasn't just shifted, It's been utterly, irrevocably upended. The annual industry gala is a glittering affair, a sea of tuxedos and designer gowns, the air thick with the scent of expensive perfume and unbridled ambition. Crystal chandeliers drip diamonds of light, casting a dazzling glow over the opulent ballroom. Tonight, however, the usual buzz of networking and deal-making is overlaid with a palpable tension, a sense of shocked disbelief. My televised interview aired just hours ago. I make my entrance with Lydia Chen by my side. We are a portrait of power and unity. A hush falls over the room as we descend the grand staircase. All eyes are on us. The champagne, when a waiter offers it, tastes like pure, unadulterated victory. Then I see them, Marcus, Elise, Michael, my father. They stand clustered together, their faces pale, their expressions a mixture of horror, disbelief, and dawning, sickening comprehension. Marcus spots me. His face, already ashen, drains of all remaining color. His champagne flute slips from his nerveless fingers, shattering on the polished marble floor with a sharp, explosive crack that echoes through the suddenly silent ballroom. He lurches forward, his eyes wild, a strangled sound escaping his lips. "Amelia! You can't!" But he's stopped. Two discreet but impeccably dressed security guards, Lydia's personal detail, materialize as if from nowhere, politely but firmly blocking his path. "Mr. Thorne," one of them says, his voice calm but unyielding. "Perhaps a little too much champagne?" Marcus stares at me, his mouth agape, the full extent of his ruin finally crashing down upon him. He's lost. Utterly, comprehensively lost. His empire, his reputation, his future all gone, snatched away in a move so audacious, so unexpected, he never saw it coming. I meet his gaze, my expression cool, unreadable. No triumph, no pity, just the quiet satisfaction of a meticulously executed plan coming to fruition. The game, this long, arduous game of betrayal and revenge, is finally over. And I, Amelia Thorne, the woman he'd tried to destroy not once but twice, have emerged the undisputed victor. The power balance has indeed shifted, and the world is about to see what I can do with it. The relentless drumming of rain against the floor-to-ceiling windows of my new penthouse office, Lydia's former office, now mine as CEO of Chen Lydia International's North American division, is a fitting soundtrack to the storm of Marcus's unraveling. It's well past midnight, but the city lights still glitter below. A million fractured stars in the watery darkness. He didn't call. He didn't ask for an appointment. He simply appeared, disheveled, rain-soaked, his expensive suit clinging to him like a shroud. My security, after a brief call to me, had let him up, perhaps out of a sense of pity, or perhaps on my unspoken instruction. Now he's on his knees on the plush, cream-colored rug. The powerful Marcus Thorne, the titan of industry, reduced to a trembling, pleading wreck. "Amelia, please," he chokes out, his voice raw, hoarse. Water drips from his hair, running in rivulets down his pale face, mingling with what might be tears. "Everything. I'll give you everything. Thorne Industries, what's left of it, it's yours. My shares, my personal accounts, everything. Just make this stop. Call off your suppliers. Say it was a misunderstanding." His desperation is a tangible thing in the room, thick and cloying. He gestures wildly, his hands shaking. "We can rebuild it, together, like we always talked about. I was a fool, Amelia, blinded by greed, by ego. I see that now. I swear I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you." I watch him, my expression unreadable, my hands clasped calmly on my polished mahogany desk. The city lights glitter like fallen constellations at his feet. He had offered me crumbs when he held all the power. Now, with nothing left, he offers me the hollow shell of his ruined kingdom. "What makes you think, Marcus," I ask, my voice quiet, devoid of heat, "that I want anything you have left to offer? What makes you think I need you to rebuild anything?" His face crumples. The fight seems to drain out of him, leaving him looking small, pathetic. "But why? All of this destruction just for revenge?" "Revenge is a part of it. I won't deny that," I concede, my gaze unwavering. "But this, Marcus, is about justice. It's about consequences. You built an empire on lies and theft. It was always destined to crumble. I'm merely expedited the process. I let a beat of silence hang in the air and ensured that those you harmed were in a position to pick up the pieces. He stares at me, his eyes hollow. The fight is gone. He just looks broken. The man who shattered my world twice is now a ruin at my feet. There's no triumph in it, not anymore. Just a quiet, somber finality. The underground parking garage is cold, the air thick with the familiar, cloying scent of Elise's vanilla perfume and the acrid bite of exhaust fumes. She's leaning against my car, her face pale and tear-streaked in the harsh fluorescent light. She clutches a small, worn photo album, its pages filled with faded pictures of us as children, gap-toothed smiles, shared ice creams, arms slung around each other in an easy, uncomplicated affection that now seems like a relic from another dimension. "Mia," she whispers, her voice cracking. Concrete walls amplify her sobs into a desolate echo. "Please, Mia, don't do this to us, to the family." She holds out the album, her hand trembling. "Remember this? At the beach? You were so scared of the crabs and I held your hand." I look at the photograph. 2 little girls, innocent and trusting, a lifetime ago. Before she chose Marcus, chose betrayal over her own sister. "Memories are lovely, Elise," I say, my voice flat, devoid of the emotion she's so desperately trying to evoke. "But they don't change the present. They don't excuse your actions." "I made a mistake!" she cries, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. "A terrible mistake. I was stupid. I was weak. He manipulated me, Mia. Can't you see that?" "He manipulated you," I repeat, my voice still level. "And you, in turn, tried to manipulate me. You conspired with him. You lied to me. You tried to take what was mine again." "But we're sisters," she wails, the words a desperate last-ditch appeal. "Blood. Doesn't that mean anything to you anymore?" I meet her gaze, my own clear and steady. "It means I gave you more chances than you deserved, Elise. It means the betrayal cut deeper. But it doesn't mean I will allow you to continue to hurt me or to undermine what I've built." I pause. "I'm not destroying the family, Elise. You, Michael, and Father did that when you chose greed and alliances with my abuser over me." Her face crumples. The photo album slips from her fingers, scattering pictures across the grimy concrete floor. Pictures of a past that is well and truly dead. Professor Warner's email is a masterpiece of academic obfuscation and carefully worded self-absolution. It arrives, as I expected, late at night, a lengthy, rambling treatise on the complexities of mentorship, the pressures of academia, and the unforeseen consequences of well-intentioned actions. Attached is a legally notarized document formally relinquishing any and all claims, past, present, or future, to any of my research or intellectual property. He even offers a groveling apology for his lapse in judgment and failure to provide adequate guidance. The blue light of my monitor illuminates my face as I read his elaborate excuses, his pathetic attempts to salvage his shredded reputation. He doesn't beg for forgiveness, not directly. Instead, he appeals to my intellectual generosity and magnanimity, hoping, no doubt, that I'll simply let the matter drop, that I won't release the recording of his earlier, more candid admissions. I feel nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, not even pity. Just a profound sense of emptiness where my respect for him once resided. He was a giant in my young eyes, a beacon of integrity. Now he's just another fallen idol, a casualty of his own weakness and greed. I drag his email and its sanctimonious attachment to the trash folder without a reply. Some betrayals don't warrant the dignity of a response. Sunday dinner at my parents' new, considerably smaller home is an ambush. The familiar dining room of my childhood was sold to cover debts incurred from their disastrous alliance with Marcus. The tension in this new, cramped space is a suffocating blanket. My mother fusses, her hands trembling as she serves the roast chicken, a pale imitation of her former culinary glories. My father waits until after the token serving of dessert, a store-bought apple pie, to launch his offensive. "Amelia," he begins, his voice gruff, laced with a desperation I've never heard from him before. "We need to talk. About the future. About family." I meet his gaze across the small table, my expression neutral. "Your mother and I, We've made mistakes, terrible mistakes. We backed the wrong horse. We betrayed your trust. His voice cracks, a rare admission of fallibility. But you're our daughter, our blood. My mother nods, tears welling in her eyes. We miss you, darling. This, this estrangement is tearing us apart. Then comes the offer, the desperate gambit. Disown them, my father says, his voice a low, harsh whisper. Elise and Michael, publicly. If you come back to us, if you help us rebuild, what's left of the family business? I'll cut them off. They'll get nothing. It will be just us, Amelia, father and daughter, like it should have been. He's offering me my siblings as a sacrifice, a blood offering on the altar of his own self-preservation. The antique clock on the mantelpiece, a relic from their grander past, ticks with a slow, ponderous rhythm, each tick a nail in the coffin of our fractured family. I look at their faces, my father's, etched with a desperate hope, my mother's pleading, tear-stained. They still don't understand. They still think this is about money, about business, about choosing sides. This isn't a negotiation, Father, I say, my voice quiet but firm. This isn't about disowning anyone. This is about the choices each of you made. You chose Marcus over me. Elise chose Marcus over me. Michael chose Marcus over me. Those were your decisions, and these are the consequences. The final meeting takes place in my lawyer's opulent, wood-paneled conference room. The scent of expensive leather and old money hangs in the air. They are all present. Marcus, looking like a ghost of his former self. Elise, pale and subdued. Michael, sullen and resentful. My father, his face a mask of grim resignation. Even Kora is there, summoned by my legal team, looking nervous and out of her depth. My lawyer, the formidable Miss Davenport, presides with an air of cool, unflappable competence. The documents are laid out on the gleaming mahogany table. Final severance agreements, non-disclosure clauses, formal dissolutions of any and all remaining business ties. One by one, they make their final, futile appeals. Marcus mumbles about second chances, about redemption. Elise whispers about forgiveness, about sisterly bonds. Michael mutters about unfairness, about being misled. My father speaks of legacy, of family duty, of the sanctity of blood ties. Kora simply looks like she wants to disappear. I listen to each of them, my expression unwavering, my resolve absolute. Miss Davenport, sensing my cue, clears her throat. If there are no further contributions, she says, her voice tinged with irony, Miss Thorne has a final statement. I stand, my gaze sweeping across their defeated faces. There will be no reconciliation, I say, my voice calm, measured, but carrying the unmistakable weight of finality. No second chances, no return to the way things were. You each made your choices. You each played your part in the betrayals that defined my past. Today, I am choosing to define my future without any of you. I pick up the pen, its weight satisfying in my hand. One by one, I sign the documents, each signature a definitive full stop, a severing of the ties that bind and the ties that once strangled. The squeak of the expensive leather chairs as they shift uncomfortably is the only sound in the room, a chorus of their collective defeat. It is done, truly done, 1 year later. The sun warms my skin, the gentle lapping of the Aegean Sea against the black, volcanic sand of Parissa Beach in Santorini is a soothing balm to my soul. The Mediterranean breeze, redolent with the scent of salt, wild oregano, and distant lemon groves, ruffles the pages of the book lying open in my lap. A treatise on ancient philosophy, not a quarterly report. Chen Lydia International is thriving, exceeding all projections, under the capable day-to-day leadership of Lydia and our hand-picked executive team. I've taken a step back, a sabbatical of sorts, to rediscover the parts of myself I'd lost, or perhaps never had the chance to nurture. The quarterly reports, when they arrive via secure encrypted email, show unprecedented growth, innovative breakthroughs, and a corporate culture built on integrity and mutual respect. A quiet smile touches my lips. This quiet satisfaction, this profound sense of peace is the sweetest success of all. Dinner tonight is at a small, family-run taverna tucked away in the hills of Oya, overlooking the caldera. The table is laden with grilled octopus, fresh Greek salad, local wine. Fairy lights twinkle overhead, strung between ancient olive trees, casting a warm, inviting glow against the deepening indigo of the twilight sky. Lydia is here, not as my business partner, but as my friend, her laughter echoing warmly in the soft evening air. We're joined by a small circle of new companions: an artist I met in a local gallery, a writer working on his novel, a marine biologist studying the unique ecosystem of the caldera. These are my new inner circle, people drawn together not by ambition or obligation, but by shared interests, genuine affection, and a mutual appreciation for the simple beauty of life. There are no hidden agendas here, no whispered betrayals. Just laughter, good food, and the easy camaraderie of kindred spirits. My mornings often begin with yoga on the sun-drenched terrace of my whitewashed villa. The rising sun paints the sky in hues of apricot and rose, the sea a vast expanse of shimmering sapphire. I move through the asanas, my body strong and supple, my breath steady, my mind clear and calm. Positions I never had the time or the peace of mind to explore in my previous life, or during the tumultuous years consumed by my quest for justice. Each stretch, each pose, is a reclamation of self, a celebration of the resilience of the human spirit, my spirit. I am no longer Amelia Thorne, the victim, or Amelia Thorne, the avenger. I am simply Amelia, a woman at peace with her past and excited by her future. This is my personal renaissance, a quiet unfolding, a gentle blossoming. The fountain pen, a vintage Mont Blanc, feels perfectly balanced in my hand. The paper before me is thick, creamy, embossed with the logo of the Phoenix Innovation Foundation. I am signing the final documents establishing a global scholarship and mentorship program for young, underprivileged entrepreneurs, particularly women in the STEM fields. Its mission: to help them protect their intellectual property, navigate the often treacherous waters of the business world, and build sustainable, ethical enterprises. This is my legacy, not one built on the ashes of revenge, but on the enduring principles of protection, empowerment, and fostering the next generation of innovators. It's a way to transmute the pain of my own experiences into something positive, something transformative. The sun is setting, a molten gold orb dipping below the horizon, painting the sky in breathtaking strokes of orange, pink, and violet. I walk barefoot along the coastline, the cool, damp sand a comforting sensation between my toes. The waves sigh gently at my feet, a timeless rhythm of ebb and flow. My phone, which I rarely carry these days, buzzes in the pocket of my linen trousers. I glance at the screen. A text message from Marcus. Another rambling plea for forgiveness, another desperate attempt to rewrite a history that is now immutable. I smile, a small, serene smile, and switch off the phone, slipping it back into my pocket, its presence no longer a source of anxiety or anger. My gaze returns to the horizon, where the last sliver of sun disappears, leaving behind a sky dusted with the first stars of evening. New adventures await, new possibilities, new dreams to chase, not out of a need to prove anything, but simply for the joy of the journey. The sand is cool between my toes. I inhale the clean, salt-tinged air and finally, completely, irrevocably let go. The peace is profound. It is absolute. And it is mine.